Well, hey everybody, Mike Griffith here. Welcome to tonight's halftime show. We'll try to do these from the SEC games. Big lead for Georgia football, 26-6. And if you're a Georgia fan, you've got to be happy with the way the Bulldogs closed that first half. Amazing defense with the safety on Luke Doty. And then JT Daniels takes him right down the field. JT looks remarkable tonight. 17 of 21, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really efficient. You know, I suppose the only question mark that a lot of us might have is Stetson Bennett coming in on the third series of the game. Not sure if Kirby had planned to rotate quarterbacks. Not really sure why the substitution, but Stetson throws an interception, fired high for Brock Bowers. The Georgia defense, though, responded from their own 12-yard line, held South Carolina out of the end zone. That was really key. You know, against a better team cashes in and changes the momentum. But let's be honest, South Carolina, not a great football team. Still, the Gamecocks able to exploit Georgia on the corners. We've seen some downfield passes. Luke Doty does look good throwing the ball. He's stepped through pressure a couple of occasions. You saw Amir Speed, the senior, get beat on that 58-yard completion early on. That led to the other Gamecock field goal. You look at the Georgia run game, though, it's very evident that Kirby wants to get the run game going. He's trying to be patient. He's trying to stick with it on the ground. He says that's important to him. You know, that means a lot to him. So far now, Georgia with looks like I'm not sure if that's the first quarter stats. Looking at stats here, how much rushing they have for Georgia. Looks like 87 yards rushing for the Bulldogs, averaging 5 yards per carry. James Cook with a really strong performance tonight. He's had that touchdown run. He's got 4 carries for 51 yards, a 23-yarder. Still don't have a run longer than 25 yards this year on the ground. Kirby's still going to be looking for those explosive plays. You saw that on the penultimate drive of the first half. It looked like JT could have thrown him down there, and Kirby very conservative. 3 run plays in a row from near midfield, and then the punt down to the 1. It worked out because you got the safety and the field goal. But I think if Georgia would have been patient and let JT throw the football, I think that could have been a touchdown. So seeing a pretty conservative Kirby Smart so far. That play calling in particular, I know a lot of fans are going to be asking about that, asking Kirby about that after the game. But the bottom line, Georgia right now is in control of this football game. You know, they're statistically dominant. You see that defensive line, that safety, the way Jordan Davis moves the pocket. And then Nolan Smith was able to, you know, clean up and get that sack in the end zone. You know, the one thing South Carolina couldn't do, and you could just read it all over Shane Beamer's face, how frustrated he was, because that's the one thing that couldn't happen, and he trusted Doty in that situation. So Georgia right now, 322 total yards to the Gamecocks 131. Gamecocks only 8 yards rushing the ball. We know that Kirby and Georgia like to make teams one-dimensional. They take away that run game, and it really enables them to pin their ears back, go after the quarterback. They've been able to get a lot of pressure so far without any blitzes, really, though. First downs, Georgia 17, South Carolina 6. You look at the time of possession. That's another area. Georgia winning 15:52 to 14:07. Time of possession kind of wear you down a little bit. The Dogs with 2 sacks so far. South Carolina, I think they've executed about as clean as you could imagine coming on the road when you consider they really haven't played an opponent of this caliber. You know, I don't know. If you're South Carolina and you're only down 26-6, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Again, I really think Georgia could have driven for a touchdown there. Kirby with a little conservative play there in the final 2 minutes. So far, a pretty exciting game. Brock Bowers continues to be the most consistent receiver. He's got 5 catches for 53 yards. Tonight, Adonai Mitchell, the freshman, his first touchdown catch is a Georgia Bulldog. He's got 4 catches for 77 yards, including that 38-yard touchdown. He's been targeted 5 times. You know, Jermaine Burton, he goes deep, 43-yard touchdown grab, 2 catches for Burton for 61 yards. That's what you need from number 7. He needs to be that explosive player on the perimeter. That's what's been missing, and you see what JT Daniels can do. Kearis Jackson back in the receiver rotation. Hey, this is big. Kearis had been back on punt returns, but now he's back in the receiver rotation. His first catch since returning from injury this year goes for a first down. We saw Kenny McIntosh with a nice 12-yard grab, Ladd McConkey with a 12-yard grab. And so it's just some good things. JT Daniels, the first 5 completions that he has, he spreads it out to 5 different receivers. And look, I know what David Pollack said earlier on game day. And listen, I've got a lot of respect for David Pollack, college football Hall of Famer and a tremendous analyst for game day. But, this is JT Daniels' team, folks. And I think that the rotating of the quarterbacks, Stetson Bennett did an incredible job last week being ready, going 10 for 12 for 288 on UAB. But I just don't think it's fair to the quarterbacks I think it really hurts the rhythm. And it worked against UAB for Stetson. It really didn't work, though, for Carson Beck. And tonight it didn't work for Stetson. So I think I don't know who's calling for the rotation, if that's a Kirby thing or if that's a Todd Monken thing. I do know Kirby tries to be fair and give everybody playing time. But look, this isn't AYSO soccer. And at some point, Georgia's going to have to make some hard decisions at quarterback, at running back, and because you just can't appease everyone. It's just too hard. It's really simple in my mind. You play the best guys, right? You saw today also, I'm sure most of you saw the game in Gainesville, the Florida Gators, with a very game effort, a moral victory for Florida. I was a little surprised, though, for all the hype and the credit that Dan Mullen gets as a creative play caller. The 2-point conversion call was woefully inept. Run it up the middle. That's not what you do there. Teams typically practice specialized 2-point plays. The Gators look like they panicked. They didn't convert, and that's ball game. Alabama pretty much able to run out the clock. So right now, Georgia, to me, even though we talked about some stumbles, putting Stetson Bennett in, leading to a field goal, conservative play calling at the end of the first half, I would still tell you that right now, Georgia looks like the best team in the SEC. Of course, you guys know, like I do, nobody gives out trophies for who looks the best 3 games into the season. But if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan right now, you got to feel good. You're seeing that offensive line assert themselves against a pretty good South Carolina defensive line. If there's one thing Carolina does well, it's play the run. They've got very strong guys up front. Now you're seeing Georgia looking susceptible on the corners. We knew that coming in, that they were going to be green, right? You got to give Carolina some credit. Doty's made some great throws, some great plays from the Carolina receivers, but you just can't get beat like that on the edges, right? Even seen Lewis Seen, get beat. So the other teams are going to make plays. And that's why guys like Saban and Kirby are talking about that you got to have offense. Even when you've got a great defense, the other team is going to make plays. But what you've seen from Georgia is how this Georgia defense responds, right? Stetson Bennett throws the pick. It's returned 35 yards to the 12, and the defense digs in and comes up with a huge stop, holds them to 3 points, and maintains the momentum. The Sanford Stadium crowd rocking and rolling. They're into it. It's a night game. South Carolina gets the ball first in the second half. That's going to be a very big possession. You're going to want to see Georgia put their foot down, stomp the Gamecocks out, and you're going to want to see Kirby go back to the ground game, set up the play action, let JT Daniels get in a rhythm, and put this game away in the third quarter and out of touch. That's what needs to happen for the Georgia Bulldogs. After the game, Brandon Adams will be coming to you with the post-game show. You're not going to want to miss that. Brandon's going to have a complete breakdown, all the statistics, all the numbers. I'm doing a live blog. I'm doing some live scoring, and we'll have stories posted at the end of the game for myself and Connor Riley. And then we'll get Kirby Smart's press conference posted right here on this page on dognation.com. We'll have Kirby's press conference posted immediately, and we'll have some stories and insights for you right after the game. So thanks for joining me tonight. Really appreciate you guys watching the halftime show. Looks like Georgia has got all the momentum. Bulldogs looking like the best team in the SEC. Be interesting to see if people vote Georgia #1 in the polls tomorrow after they beat this South Carolina team. Everybody have a good night. Enjoy the second half.